Greetings, everyone. It took 57 years for me to get to this day where I understand this lesson. You have to walk into another person's shoes before you understand their life. And when you're not able to do that, that's where prejudice come in. So you remained a virgin until you got married. And you were blessed enough to keep one man throughout your life. That truly is a blessing. But love is that binding force that draws people to each other. And sometimes the best intention is not always expressed through every person you meet. So someone will chase after you. You know how men are. They will chase after you. They will tell you they'll bring you to the moon and back. And when you finally let down your guards and let them in, they ruin your life. They'll break you emotionally, financially, spiritually. So while some women are able to go through 2 men or 3 men and find love, some will try 10 men and never find love. How is it that woman's fault? So you have women with several children with many different fathers, and it's so easy for you to judge because you had all your kids with one man or with 2 men. You don't understand. Some of these women who are going through these different men, they're not chasing after these men. These men are chasing after them. And some of these women have never had the love of a father or a mother. So they're out here operated without a manual, without a guide. And some of the people who like to criticize some of these women, they grew up in a household where they had mother and father. They grew up in a household maybe with a mother who sold her body so that they can come out and be who they are today. But they don't know that or they don't remember that. And I'm starting out the video saying all this to say to Miss Kitty, who is blessed and who has her ambition, but only what you tell the public do we know about you, unless people know you close and personal. And so while you're encouraging women to do the right thing, remember you had to take your path. You have to go a particular journey before you get to where you're at now. And sometimes some of the very women who you're frowning upon are looking upon or looking down on, because it's not looking up, you're looking down. They never went to school, some of these women. They never had access to the education that you have. There are kids in Jamaica, young people in Jamaica, who are brilliant. And after they graduate with X amount of subjects, they have to go and work in a call center because they can't carry on. So they'll never have access to the education that you have unless they have this sheer determination. And even that is not enough. There are people who live abroad who are ambitious and they try and they try and then they try some more and they never end up with anything more than subsistence living. There are women who lock shop. Sometimes they tolerate certain types of abuse within that relationship sphere because they don't want people to judge them. So they stay with an abusive man. They stay with a dirty man. They stay with men who don't deserve them. Okay? So it is not right to take your paintbrush, Miss Kitty, and paint everybody with it. Though your intentions might be good and you want everybody to step up in their queenship, 5 kids are going to come through some women, through different fathers, because we don't make children. Children are created. That doesn't say we can't be responsible and try to be careful in what we're doing or who we're getting in bed with, but some things are ordained. John and Patsy had to come together to get Susan and John Jr. and the plans that the universe have for these people's life, if they don't come through those channels where there's hardship, where there's certain experience that's going to prepare them for that journey, then it wouldn't happen. You are an educated mom and a well-established, very famous person, Miss Kitty. But the access you gained, some will never gain it. And I'm going to also say about marriage. It's sacred and honorable. But if I were you as a woman, speaking from the experience of a married woman, take it easy. Because they say, man, them will shame you. They will put you to open shame and open disgrace. So while you love your husband and respect him, Dan for every Dan, boss for every boss, remember they are men. And some of the women you look on now and say, I could never. They might tolerate things that you wouldn't tolerate, but there are things that you will tolerate that they will not. And I know over the years, Miss Kitty, some of these people have disgraced you and tried to shame you, and you live according to your own rules. You have to do the same for these other women. And though your intention is the best for these women, sometimes you come across as condescending. Not everybody is going to be rich and famous, but they'll produce some rich and famous people. Some of these butter ears girl, you hear them say butter ears girl and dirty foot boy, they're going to produce lawyers and doctors and teachers, the same people we look down upon. Look down on. The same people. Because that's how God operates. Because a woman has 5 kids or 5 different men doesn't mean she's a bad person. It just means that she has met misfortune in seeking love. I used to be like that. I used to look at women who just go through men. And I used to think to myself, how could you do that to your body? But until you meet these women one-on-one and listen to their stories, some of these women have encountered some horrible experience at the hand of men. And that's how they reclaim their power. And to you, it might not make sense until you really talk to these women, just searching for something, or they're rebelling against something. These things have deeper meaning than what we see on the surface. So we just have to open our arms or form a circle around women who you feel is promiscuous, women who you feel kind of make you look at them sideways. You have to understand their story. I've heard stories from young women, things that they endure at the hand of their own fathers, at the hand of uncles, at the hand of people that they trusted and loved. But I'm grateful for mercy and that God is not like you and me. And that the people we often turn our nose apart or on sometimes have some blessing waiting to pour out on them. A woman's body is hers and her choice to do whatever she wants to do with it. And though sometimes her choices, all our choices have ramification, all of our choices, comes with a paycheck. We still have to be mindful. A man is just a man. And if you get to be the age where you're at, Miss Kitty, you're just having your child, you're just marrying your love? What about all those years you were not a virgin waiting for your husband, and your husband was not a virgin waiting for you? So he would have had encounter with other women who, if he's no longer with them, might have some negative things to say about him. But you found him at a place where he hopefully would have learned many lessons and become a better man for you. Big up to you. But in the process of becoming a better man for you, how many women did he hurt? And regardless of how many women he hurt, if he fathered kids with these other women, does that make them less of a woman than you, Miss Kitty? No. Because that's a journey. So all these women who may have or have not had kids with your husband, are those women less than you, Miss Kitty? Because he's a mature man, and so are you. And he would have passed through that channel where he had to grow and find you. Does it make those women less important than you? And when your offspring comes into the world where she's starting to date and meet people, should she settle for a man that is not treating her right? Because sometimes women leave because they will not tolerate abuse from any man. They love themselves, they value themselves enough to stay single and alone. And sometimes experiences with relationship, with whether man or woman, when you're done with those persons, you're happy to stay single. And before I leave this is not addressing Miss Kitty, but to those women who often talk about women who sell their parts to raise children. Listen, if you think you're better than the woman who literally had to do what she had to do to provide for her children, when you went through all these different relationships based on money, you say if the man doesn't have anything, you can't go with him. You are no different from the woman who did it for her children, because you just did it for what reason? Some of you women are educated, you have jobs, you can take care of yourself, but you're still looking for a rich man. So therefore, if the man has money, you're for sale. It's very easy to judge. And some of these people with the big hats in the church, they live some lives that even they're ashamed of, and they would never be honest enough to share. These are the ones who are most judgmental, who see the young girl behaving in a way that they feel like isn't right. And instead of taking her under her wing and finding out what's going on with her and just offering friendship to her without judgment. And when you look into the background of some of these women, it's disgusting. So whether you're able to hold out and wait for your perfect man, and there is no perfect man, absolutely none. And because a man and a woman are married for 50 years doesn't mean that wife did not tolerate all kinds of disrespect. And men experience disrespect from women as well. So when we are going to speak, we cannot use our lives to judge somebody else. It's very easy for us to want to do that, but we shouldn't, because our experiences are different. And if you have 10 children and they're all blessed, who cares from which channel they came? Because you have one child or one offspring with one man doesn't give you the right to judge other women. Just think about these things and stay blessed.